happens when teachers come together to collaboratively design intellectually engaging, discipline-based tasks for all students in their classroom. What happens when teachers design assessment with students from the start and use ongoing feedback that allow the students to improve their work? Using the dimensions from the discipline-based inquiry task rubric, teachers in one school set out to design intellectually engaging and meaningful work for all students in their classrooms. During the collaborative design process, consideration was given to ensure that the task designs were authentic to the discipline and that they were academically rigorous. The work was designed so that the assessment was intentional and ongoing, and rubrics were collaboratively designed with students using exemplars. The work lived beyond the school walls and was communicated to a real audience for a real purpose. The students connected with experts and expertise to inform their work and used technology appropriately in a purposeful manner.
My students are, it takes quite a lot for them to get writing especially, and this kind of a project was so engaging for them because it made it so authentic. They were able to look at a postcard and actually see themselves in a place in Red Deer. So it completely tied into our social studies, it tied into our language arts, and they were so excited because it was actually them being on a postcard, and they were going to be able to send their postcards back home, so they were going to get them in the mail, and they were thrilled. And then once we made our book, as soon as I brought the book in the classroom, it was, can we make another book? I really want to make another book. We could do this kind of a book or this kind of a book. So it was so cool to see them that engaged.
Students were tasked to design their own postcards and place themselves into the photo of a significant location in their hometown. They were then asked to write the postcard using interesting and descriptive language. Before beginning, students and the teachers explored the qualities of an effective postcard and established the assessment criteria together.
Picture on, and then we put like the little writing on and stuff, and our grade 6 buddies helped.
And did the bullseye help you?
Yes, like
How did it help you?
Because it helped you because it kind of tells you stuff that the postcard would need, like good writing, a nice picture.
So we made our rubric as a class, and that was one of the first things we had done. And we had a really good postcard and we had a really bad postcard, and we had talked about what makes a good postcard and what makes a bad postcard, and they came up with everything, and this is the whole thing compiled into one, which is a little bit more challenging for them. For them, it's easier to have that just split up into, correct spelling. There are 1 or 2 misspelled words. There are many spelling mistakes. So they talked about their spelling, they talked about their describing words, because one of our postcards said, and then we did this, and then I like this, and then I like this. And the other postcard talked about, oh, this was really fun because the water was so blue and we were able to see stingrays. And so they talked about how describing words make it sound a lot more interesting. Then we talked about
You do the address so it doesn't go for a while. Like you don't mess it up.
How can you mess it up?
Like because if you have bad writing. If you have bad writing and then don't have the right address, they'll get sick.
And the students were so excited because as soon as they noticed that it was the front of their picture and then the back of their postcard with all the writing that they had done, it was so cool for them to see that they had actually created this book. And it was easy for me. All I did was plunk in the pictures and put their name in there. And for them, they hide it in their desks now because they all want to kind of sneak away and read it during reading time, and they're all kind of like, oh, maybe if I hide it in my desk then no one else will come and find it and I'll be able to read it one more time. So it's really cool, and especially for the reading with some of them, it's a little bit difficult for them to get into it, but something like this, it opens up a whole world for all of them.
Grade 3 and 4, we created a project using the iPads with an app called MadPat, where the students did some composition, and we started with the process with figuring out different kinds of sounds and what sounds might go together, and then how to incorporate those sounds into some sort of a composition using groups of students and the iPads.
While watching expert examples of MadPad compositions on YouTube, students define the characteristics of an effective MadPad song. From there, the assessment criteria are created for their final pieces. Then, they set to work composing.
Well, the neat thing with the iPads is that every kid was already naturally engaged to use some technology. Add in some of the music components that we added, and we saw 100% engagement right across the board, grade 3 and 4 boys, girls. It was really neat to see.
When teachers work together to collaboratively design discipline-based inquiry studies that are knowledge-centered, learner-centered, assessment-centered, and community-centered, these have been shown to improve student engagement and achievement.